Royal Center places a priority on the safety of their tenants and visitors to Royal Center, and this video will help emergency coordinators plan and coordinate your office evacuation procedures. Do not let an emergency be the first time that you learn about the safety features and evacuation procedures of the building. In a fire or emergency situation, emergency coordinators need to know how to lead their colleagues to safety in a safe and efficient manner. That's what we're going to teach you today. Emergency evacuation procedures. Each floor shall have a minimum of one emergency coordinator per 15 people. For offices where there are only one or two wardens, backup wardens will be required. Each emergency coordinator must receive annual training in addition to regular meetings scheduled throughout the year. Now let's look at all the safety devices and features at Royal Center. In the event of an alarm, the fire department and building personnel will respond to the security desk emergency panel to locate the source and location of the alarm. This integrated electronic life safety system, which meets or exceeds code requirements, monitors the building's fire detection and sprinkler systems and is monitored 24 hours a day by building security and an off-site monitoring company. All life safety systems, including emergency elevators, fire pumps, emergency lighting, and the public address system, are provided with backup emergency power to operate. Concrete floor slabs and fire-rated walls prevent the vertical and horizontal spreading of fire. Most fires will be confined to one floor only. Sprinklers are located throughout each floor. They are activated by heat in excess of 74 degrees Celsius. Smoke detectors are located on each floor in the electrical, mechanical, and telecom rooms, as well as the return air openings. Pull stations are located directly adjacent to each exit stairwell. All evacuation communications should take place via the fire telephones located adjacent to each exit stairwell. Speakers are located throughout each floor. Fire extinguishers are located in cabinets adjacent to each stairwell door. Familiarize yourself with their location. If you're unsure whether you should attempt to use a fire extinguisher, don't. Activate the nearest pull station and proceed with emergency evacuation procedures. If you choose to use a fire extinguisher, use it correctly. Pull the pin as shown, aim the extinguisher nozzle at the base of the flame, squeeze the handle, and lastly, sweep from side to side at the base of the flame until the fire is extinguished. Pass. Remember, always keep yourself between the fire and your exit door. Elevators continue to run except when an alarm situation such as fire or smoke is present in the elevator lobby area or machine rooms. Then the elevators will home to the main floor and will remain there with the doors open. During an alarm, never use the elevators to proceed up into the building. When an alarm is activated in Royal Center, either by a pull station or automatically by a sprinkler or smoke detector, this is what happens. An evacuation alarm will sound at 120 strokes per minute on the floor of the alarm as well as the floors above and below.
May I have your attention, please? This is Royal Center Security. We have a fire alarm activation on the 18th floor with emergency coordinators on floors 19, 18, and 17. Please evacuate via the nearest safe exit stairwell. The fire department has been notified. Please stand by for further information.
Emergency coordinators will put on their red hard hats and vests and meet in the passenger elevator lobby to determine if any wardens are away and to deputize staff as assistant wardens or as buddies for persons requiring assistance. One emergency coordinator will remain in the elevator lobby as acting chief coordinator for reporting purposes. Emergency coordinators should also be checking that the evacuation routes are clear and that there is no smoke in the stairwells. Emergency coordinators will sweep the floor, asking occupants to leave and to close but not lock their office doors to help prevent smoke damage and reduce the spreading of fire. If possible, evacuees should take their coat and keys with them in case they are unable to return to their space. Emergency coordinators will check areas such as storage rooms and washrooms to ensure that they are clear. Remember, the primary role of the emergency coordinator is to ensure that their floors have been fully evacuated. Occupants will be directed to evacuate down the nearest exit stairwell to the next lower crossover floor not in evacuation alarm, or exit the building to their designated off-site evacuation location. What exactly is a crossover floor? Well, Royal Center has two sets of stairs, with each stairwell providing an exit route for every floor. Crossover floors, which are identified by large signs across the door, connect both stairwells. This allows evacuees to cross over to an alternate stairwell should their stairwell become obstructed or filled with smoke. Crossover floors not in evacuation alarm are also used as relocation points, in place of evacuees having to evacuate down the entire stairwell. Evacuees will move into the lobby area and remain in this location until either the alarm ends or that floor goes into evacuation alarm. If your floor has people whose mobility is partially or even temporarily restricted, follow these evacuation procedures. Emergency coordinators should maintain a current list of persons requiring assistance. During an evacuation, the chief coordinator will assign buddies to each person requiring assistance. Buddies must be physically capable of carrying the persons requiring assistance down the stairs in the most extreme circumstances. The person requiring assistance and their buddies will move into the elevator lobby and, if available, use the building elevators to evacuate down to the main floor and exit the building to the designated off-site evacuation location. If the elevators are unavailable or the lobby area is unsafe, proceed to the stairwell landing and wait for fire department assistance. Persons requiring assistance will only be evacuated by the fire department should they be in immediate danger. The lobby emergency coordinator will advise via the fire telephone the number of persons requiring assistance and their buddies that require evacuation should they be unable to use the elevators to evacuate. Please follow the wishes of the person requiring assistance as long as their safety and yours is not jeopardized. Here are some tips to remember when evacuating your floor. Elevators are for the use of persons requiring assistance and their buddies should they be available. All other able-bodied persons should use the evacuation stairwells. Carrying drinks, texting, or doing any other activity that prevents tenants from paying attention while evacuating down a stairwell creates an unacceptable slip and fall hazard that could lead to injury and evacuation delays. Keep the noise level down. This will aid in emergency coordinator communications and allows all occupants to hear broadcasts over the public address system. Stay in single file to the innermost side of the stairwell when descending. This will aid emergency personnel using the stairwell and will prevent you from being struck by the stairwell doors. Should the current stairwell become obstructed or filled with smoke, use the next crossover floor to access an alternate stairwell. The emergency is not over when the alarm tone stops sounding. Continue with the evacuation until told otherwise by emergency personnel. Do not, for any reason, return to your floor once you have left, and do not attempt to go against the flow of traffic. Women who wear high heels in the workplace should keep and change into appropriate footwear at their workstations prior to evacuation. This reduces the risk of tripping while descending the stairs. In a full tower evacuation, all floors throughout the complex receive the evacuation alarm. All floors will evacuate to the exterior of the building via a safe, smoke-free exit stairwell. To avoid the risk of injury from flying debris and glass, and to keep the exterior exit door clear, all tenants should immediately leave the area, assembling on the plaza at 1075 West Georgia Street. Emergency coordinators will notify Brookfield staff upon arrival to the ground floor that their floors have been evacuated and whether there are any persons requiring assistance or others that require evacuation from their floor. If you hear an alarm at any time while in the parkade, exit the parkade via the nearest stairwell and proceed to your designated off-site evacuation area. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to remove your vehicle from the parkade when it's in alarm. Evacuate to your designated off-site evacuation area if you hear an alarm in the retail area. If you are ever on the elevator when a fire alarm rings, don't panic. The elevator will come to a stop and automatically proceed to the main floor. When the all clear announcement is made, please await reactivation of the elevators and proceed back to your floor via the public elevator system. Please do not attempt to use the stairwell as emergency personnel and equipment may still be in place. When you hear the alert alarm, stand by and prepare to evacuate upon instructions from the public address system.
May I have your attention, please?
Emergency coordinators, wearing their red hard hats and vests, will meet in the passenger elevator lobby to determine if any wardens are away and to deputize staff as auxiliary wardens or as persons requiring assistance buddies. One emergency coordinator will remain as acting chief coordinator in the elevator lobby for reporting purposes. This is the time for staff to shut off their computers, lock up valuables, and whatever else may be required to prepare for an evacuation. Emergency coordinators will check that evacuation routes are clear and that there is no smoke in the stairwells. Emergency coordinators assume full control of their floor and its occupants, and should an evacuation alarm sound, will move immediately to evacuate their floor. Persons requiring assistance can use the elevators to evacuate these floors now if they are available. If the condition changes and you hear an evacuation alarm, initiate evacuation procedures. In summary, when you hear the evacuation alarm,
May I have your attention, please? This is Royal Center Security. We have a fire alarm activation on the 18th floor with emergency coordinators on floors 19, 18, and 17. Please evacuate via the nearest safe exit stairwell. The fire department has been notified. Please stand by for further information.
initiate evacuation procedures. When you hear the alert alarm, prepare for evacuation and wait for the announcement from security. Use the crossover floors for relocation points if they are not in evacuation alarm. Also, use them to cross over from one stairwell to another if needed. The off-site evacuation location is Plaza at 1075 West Georgia Street. Each floor in your building is different, and it's best to familiarize yourself with your work area's evacuation procedures and safety features. Following these guidelines and using common sense in handling emergency situations will result in a safe and efficient evacuation. At Royal Center, your safety is our concern.